Hello, Drake Hawk and Sadboy Cinema here. Today I'm reviewing a review. Pretty meta. See, I got the idea for this when I watched this other person's video about a needle drop video. It was an AJR review that this guy was mad about because he's an AJR stan, has the mentality of like a 13-year-old. But he got so unreasonably mad about the AJR review that he decided to go on a rant on his YouTube video about something. It doesn't even matter. The music isn't very good. His argument was even worse than the music itself, in my opinion. And honestly, I think getting mad over someone having a different opinion than you is pretty childish in general. But, you know, what do I know? Because this Mac Miller review, I don't agree with it, but I'm not mad. See, Needle Drop isn't like the biggest Mac Miller fan. His favorite project, as far as I know, is Faces. Like, the best review that he's done is his Circles album, which came out after Mac's passing. But on his end of the decade list, he has Faces on there instead of Circles or any other project. With that sort of pretense, you can kind of guess that Swimming isn't going to be an album for him. It's more of a downtrodden alternative hip-hop R&B sort of thing. With Mac singing on it, I can definitely see what he means by it's trash. I don't agree that it's trash. I kind of like it at some points. I will say that the track Dunno, not good in the slightest. There's almost nothing redeeming about that track. And the singing on Wings can get a little bit out there and yelpy. And also another track that I just don't really like from front to back is Small Worlds. I do like the outro portion, but the rest of the track, I just don't like how weird the mix is. Also, that hook is just not good in my opinion. The way that he drags out the world is so small, like, it's so grating. So It Goes is an okay track. It's one of the highlights here. The intro on this album, though, is like beyond fantastic. I think that this intro is one of my favorite tracks ever. Period. Ever. It's so dreamy, it's so spacey, it's so ethereal, it's so melodic and tinged and it's what I wish more of Circles could have been. Circles is a pretty good album, but I feel like Come Back to Earth is better than everything on Circles. Self-Care was my first introduction to Mac's music, period, and honestly I think it's a pretty good place to start. It's a sort of laid-back chill banger with two parts. I definitely prefer the first part more. The drums in the second part are so dreamy though, like it's honestly really damn good. I do feel like that the singing on the second part and on the hook and Self-Care in general is a little bit, can get a little grating at times. It's not a song that I would play over and over and over. Hurt Feelings used to be one of my favorites until, you know, I listen more and I feel like the singing, again, can be a little grating. The rapping is pretty solid though, but I feel like the beat is a little too loopy and a little too nocturnal for the entire vibe of it, therefore resulting in not exactly one of my favorites here. What's the Use is definitely one of my favorites though. It has such a funky bass line, such a groove rhythm. It's very, very, very music. And Mac's flow, while being a little not put together at times, it's attention grabbing, keeps my, attention throughout the entire thing. It grabs that attention, it gets a good grip on it, and it carries it with it wherever it wants to go. And while lyrically, I don't recall there being much of anything here that I cared about, it's a pretty nice vibe. And then another highlight here, Jet Fuel. It's really solid. I really like the production here. But what the fuck is that outro? Like, I can see what he's going for on this outro. I can see what he's doing. It doesn't wholly make sense until the background vocals come in, which is, again, Mac slathered in autotune. That doesn't mean that I don't like the outro. Like, it's a little disorienting, but once you get accustomed to it, it's very gentle. It's very angelic. It's very sad. And in my opinion, this project is a really good listen from front to back, aside from Dunno. And I think Conversation Part 1, while it is a good track, it's kind of redundant, considering we never got a Conversation Part 2. Unfortunately. But yeah, this is a pretty decent project. I think it's a 7. I think it's a 7 out of 10. Needle Drop thinks it's a 3, and that hurts my feelings because I can't tolerate anyone having a different opinion than me. Like, I don't get these sort of arguments that people have where it's like, oh, Needle Drop reviewed this thing that I like, and he said he didn't like it, or he doesn't like it as much as I do. Why don't I just dislike bomb the fucking thing? Like, it's not only this review that got dislike bombed, like, This is his worst like to dislike ratioed review, and I mean, I guess I could kind of see why. Because he gives this album a 3, and then the artist died a few months later. Like, why is Damn such a controversial review? Like, I love Damn. Damn is a 9 out of 10 record for me. It's really good from front to back. I get so much out of replaying it, but like, I'm not mad that he doesn't like it as much as I do. Like, conflicting opinions are a thing. Like, unless it's something doing with race or LGBT, I don't see what the issue is and someone else having a different opinion than you. Like, obviously, if someone doesn't like black people or gay people, beat the shit out of them. I'm all down for that. Don't get mad that someone has a different opinion on music than you. That's one of the beauties of the internet and one of the beauties of free speech in general, which free speech is really the right to speak out about your government without being lynched. But, you know, you Republicans seem to have lost that notion years ago and just use it as a right to say racial slurs. As much as I don't agree with this review, I like that he's able to express his opinions and express his thoughts on this piece of music freely, openly. That isn't that what America's for? Isn't that what America's all about? I don't fucking know. What I do know is that people should not be mad about reviews. If you like a piece of work, you like a piece of work. Don't let someone else change that. If you don't like a piece of work, you don't like a piece of work. Don't let someone else change that. Feel free to express how you feel about an album, a mixtape, an artist, a piece of music in general. Feel free to, don't feel pressured by other people to make up an opinion, to water down your ideas, to just make shit up to be more acceptable and more streamlined for more people to agree with you. But yeah, I'm giving this review an 8. Bye.
Lost my ball, tryna ball, I ain't tall, so it's hard to reach the stalls. Even more, my weeds are ball.